Hey there everybody, hope you're well. Martin here and welcome to this 7th and final video in this 7-part video series, especially for all you moms, dads, parents, carers who happen to be senior managers, leaders and business owners with one eye on the holiday that you got booked this summer. And at this point it is just around the corner, it's in sight. What a journey that we've been on, all to help you step into that holiday feeling calm, feeling confident, feeling relaxed, able to enjoy it. You haven't exhausted yourself in the run-up to that, and you're not stressing about work when you're on holiday. You're not still thinking, what have I missed, and what if something happens, and what am I going to come back to? We're looking to avoid all of that. And that's what we've been working on over these last 7 weeks, and the sun is shining right now to give you a grand finale send-off. And today we are going to talk about handing over, the handover process. And even if you're a business owner that's a sole business owner, so maybe you don't have a team or the people around you, this is still as relevant for you as well. So this is really important. Over the last 7 weeks now that we've been building all those skills, we've got a vision of what that holiday is going to look like, and we're excited about it and why it means so much to us to actually make sure that we enjoy that holiday. We're now looking at work differently, looking at ourselves at work differently. We're not there to do it all and everything and anything. We're there to make the biggest difference. And we focused on our work to ask the right questions of everything, the why, the consequence, the biggest difference, so that instead of managing everything, we're leading. We're able to go, that's where I need to spend my time, my energy, my focus. And then we focused your time so that you actually got that work done without multitasking, without the interruptions, without the distractions, and start setting some boundaries so that you actually left work on time. And there's a few nice little tricks of how do you actually do that and commit to it and get that done, as well as setting yourself up well in the mornings. And then last week was all just about embedding that. So honest question, how's it going? How are you feeling? If you think back to how you used to be, if you like 7 weeks ago, or how you've been in the run-up to holidays in the past, how are you feeling right now? How much more calm do you feel? More confident? More in control? I'm a realist here. I'm not saying that everything is going to feel amazing, but can you see the shift? Can you see the shift in yourself, most importantly? And how at this time, when maybe you're a week out from your holiday, and maybe you're not going on holiday right at the end of this week, but this whole week is about the week before your holiday, whenever that is. But can you just feel, can you feel different about how you usually are? Can you think like, actually, yeah, I'm feeling a bit more in control? That's the whole aim. And look, hand on heart, if you put the stuff we've talked about into practice and committed to it and did it every single day with that consistency, you would feel the difference. It would make a dramatic difference, a significant shift. And I know this because I know the feedback that you've been giving me. I've done this myself and I do it with my clients. So it's amazing how simple things, if we just, the compound effect of these things, if we do them over time and we do them consistently, they make a significant difference. So that's where we're at. And I'd love to hear your feedback right now about how things are right now. And before we get into the handover, let me just remind you, in terms of going forward, I know we're reaching the end of this series now. Let me just remind you that when it comes to changing something, improving something, overcoming something, achieving something that we haven't done before, the most effective use of your time and the quickest way to achieve that is to get personal support from somebody who's been there and done it, has got lived experience of it, and that can help you and is willing obviously to help and guide you. That is what I do. And all the way through this series I've said that is one of the options on the table. Now, a week before your holiday is not really the time to come to me and say, I'm completely frazzled. Now, are there some things that we could do? Absolutely. But I hope that if you haven't taken me up on that offer right now, or up to now, you've been doing all the actions that we've been talking about, and they have been helpful for you. And I'm hoping really that that's shown you what's possible. If you think we've had videos of what, 7 minutes to 17 minutes, I mean, they're so short, and yet they can make such a massive shift. Just imagine if you were spending an hour a week or an hour every fortnight with me, for example, and we were able to really drill into the particulars of your week, or how you're feeling, what's getting in your way, how you feel under pressure, your balance, really addressing that bespoke to you. That's the juice. And we overcome things, but then we build a better life, a greater life. Like I said at the beginning, it's not about 12-week programs or 7-week programs. It's about ongoing. Usually people come to me as clients and they go, I've got this challenge, and we overcome that, and it's confidence, or it's balance, or it's stress. And after that, we then start building what kind of life do we want to live? Because the opportunities start arising, because we're thinking clearer, we've got a better balance. And then something else hits us, and then we look at that, and we get through that, and then we continue building the life we want. So it's a joy to coach people. I just want to put that down on the table again. That's still available. And as I've said all along, most of my clients, they've just messaged me beforehand. They said, hey, I saw that post, or I did that training of yours, I put this into practice, I'm getting some progress here, or look, you're right, enough is enough, I need to change things up, can you help? And we have a quick call, and we just see what's going on, see what's possible, and then we take it from there. So that is very much still on the cards, okay, still on the table for you to do. And whilst we're coming to the end of this series, really worth you thinking, if you've got this benefit, if you've got this momentum, use these tools going forward. These aren't just for now, these are life and business skills 101. These are the things that keep you in control, keep you balanced, keep you calm, keep you confident. And is there a lot more? Of course there is, but I can't share all of that in 7 to 17 minute videos. But I've really done my best to give you the best quick things that you can do immediately that make the most significant difference, the biggest difference. So that's that. So handovers this week, week 7, all about handovers. And like I said, this is whether you've got a team around you or not. Let's cover this off. And the reason I'm going to talk about this really specifically, and I know this is, you're going to think, oh, just teaching me to suck eggs, Martin. But this is really important, because in my experience, I've done this in the past in my 20-year corporate career, and people are still doing it today, okay? You know, I speak to those leaders, those managers, business owners, and they're doing exactly what I used to do. Now, hopefully, you know, by this point, we're not exhausted, we're not in panic mode trying to dot every I, cross every T. That's not what we're here for. Hopefully you can feel that right now. But when you are in that mode, the handover part just is this thing at the end. And what happens is, what tends to happen is it gets to Friday night, and then you're scrabbling together some handover notes to ping over on an email, or it's Saturday morning because you've been working all the way through the night and you're doing some notes. It's 5 minutes before you've got to get in the car to go to the airport and you're doing some handover notes. Or heaven forbid, sometimes you've taken your laptop on a holiday and you're actually doing your handover notes from the hotel. Okay? Does any of this ring true? Come on, if you're honest. What we want to be doing is avoiding all of that. That's why I'm focusing on this today, because you've got all the other skills up to now. This is now about making sure you go on holiday feeling confident in what's happening whilst you're away, and that you can genuinely leave it all behind. So, none of this frantic stuff at the end of the week, okay? This whole week is about your handover. Now, that is not to say that you won't progress certain things. You still will progress certain things using all the skills that we've built. But a big focus for this week is to get a handle on your workload and where it's at. Honestly, where it's at right now. And also what the next steps are. So the first part is about looking at your work and being honest and true to it and saying, right, here's where we're at. And instead of doing that whole panic thing of, I've got to get it all sorted and done and pristine by the time I got on holiday, it's a case of, you're going to get it to wherever you're going to get it to. Because remember, the world doesn't end when you go on holiday. Even the birds agree, right? Life carries on, business carries on, the world carries on. So we need to be really honest about the work that we've got and where it's got to, okay? And what the next steps are. And really importantly, what the genuine next steps are. Not the, in an ideal world, oh my goodness, if I was to do this 6 months before it's due, what are the reasonable steps that need to happen next? And are some of those steps due when you're going to be on holiday? Because some of this stuff you're going to look at and it's like, well, actually, I don't need to do anything until I'm back. Or you've got it to a certain stage and then maybe somebody else is reviewing it. They'll review it, take a week or so to do that. It'll come back to you. You can deal with it when you come back. So that is just an awareness of that piece of work. It's not an actionable piece of work. And then there are other things where there genuinely will be an action. Right, something's coming in, and next Tuesday, when I'm on holiday, it's coming back. It's coming back from the printers. That means it needs to be proofread, it needs to be checked, and then it needs to be gone off to somebody. Or there's this report, and I'm putting these figures together, and then the report goes off, and then it just needs to be checked next week. Whatever it is, there's an action that might need to be taken. Now, I mentioned this earlier when we talked about time and your workload. Do not put false deadlines on things. Remember, the chances are you are going to hand some of this stuff over to somebody. You're doing a handover to let other people know and potentially either caretake that work or take an action on your behalf. Do not make false deadlines. These have to be reasonable, they have to be realistic, they have to be real. Not some ideal thing that if you did that, then I can do it much quicker. Just what is the natural process in this project or the piece of work. I can't stress this enough, it's so important. Because the next part of what you do is who you're going to hand over to. So the first part is I want you, and at the beginning of the week, I want you to get a handle on your work. Do not think you can't do this until you've done everything and dotted every I and crossed every T on Friday afternoon. I want you to start thinking about this now. And you can have a look and go, well, over the course of the week, actually, I will have done this and this. So by the time I hand it over, this will have happened. Don't wait until it's happened. And again, don't put extra pressure on yourself to do 97 things. Just 1 or 2 things that you can get done this week. The first part is to look at the work and be realistic with that. The second part is looking at who can you hand this stuff over to? Who do you need to brief? Now, there are going to be different types of briefings. There's going to be stuff where you just want them to be aware of it. Because if somebody mentions something or somebody asks a question about it, they just might want to know about it and they might want to know where your files are on it. Okay, so there's not an action to take, it's more of a briefing and an awareness. So who is best placed to have that information? Okay, some of it will be actionable. So they have to take, ideally you want them to take an action. They have to take some ownership of an action. So who is best placed to do that? And I know you're thinking, Martin, this is obvious stuff. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. When we leave it to the last minute as a panic and a note that we just then ping off as an email, here's what happens. You haven't engaged with those people. You haven't sat down with them and understood, not only do they understand the thing that you're giving them, but you haven't understood their capacity to be able to do that. You've literally just dumped something on them and said, hey, you've got to do this while I'm away. Now, you've got to bear in mind, everybody is busy. Everyone has got massive workloads. And maybe they haven't had the benefit of the last 7 weeks like that you've been going through. So maybe they're where you used to be. So you just throwing something at them could be the thing that just tips them over the edge. They don't have the capacity. But if you sit down this week, and again, this is why you need to do this, figure this stuff out at the beginning of the week. Because it may well be that you can't get their time until Wednesday or Thursday. But so you need to get this in the diary. You need to identify the people and then sit down with them, talk with them, call them, Zoom call them, whatever it is, and understand and lead with, I'm going on holiday. I think the best place to caretake this work for me whilst I'm away. But before I even do that, what I want to do is I want to just check out what your capacity is to do that. By the way, that's what a leader does. A leader shows compassion and empathy and is there to understand. They aren't there just to dump stuff on people. They aren't there just to do the jigsaw puzzle and go, you do that, you do that, you do that, you do that. Okay? We're not going to be that person, and we're certainly not going to do that in an email that then sends somebody over the top. Because also what happens when we do that, when we just dump stuff on people, we're then not confident that it's going to get done. So we then spend our holiday worrying whether they understood it, whether we've missed something out, whether they've got the whole brief in, whether they have got access to the files, whether they're actually they're going to do anything with it when it does need some action, and what on earth am I going to come back to? If we do this handover process over the course of the week, and we really do it with compassion and empathy, understanding and not panic, then we get to relax on holiday, safe in the knowledge that the work that we've done is protected, the work that needs to be done is going to get done, and that you're not going to come back to an absolute dog's dinner when you return from holiday. That's not to say something might not have happened, but we always look at worst case scenario. Some people, and I think I said this before, some people have told me they don't go on holiday because they fear what they would come back to, which shows how little control they have over everything and how they're looking at things, but also how they would look at a handover and the trust that they would have in other people. So this week, figure out your work, what genuinely needs action and what genuinely just needs awareness. And be clear with that, what those instructions are, what the briefing is, understand who is best placed, and also understand that if you have that conversation about their capacity and then test their understanding, it may well be that they're not, your first choice isn't the person that is going to take this forward. So again, you need to give yourself time, because if it's like, oh my goodness, this person really is up to their eyeballs and there's no way they can take this on, it's completely unreasonable for me to ask them to do this thing next Tuesday. Right, okay, I need a plan B, I need to go and engage somebody else. So again, if you've left this till Friday, you haven't got time to engage anybody. So get this done early in the week. And I know I've really emphasized this, but I can't tell you enough how important it is, both for the work that you believe is so precious, right? That you've worked really hard to get to this point and is worthy of time and progression. It's worth it for that, but it's also worth it for you, your peace of mind on holiday, and it's worth it for the colleagues you leave behind whilst you're on holiday. I mean, I've even had situations where somebody's handed over something to somebody and said, do it. And because they've literally just thrown it at them, they didn't know that they were on holiday a few days after they went on holiday. So this person wasn't even around. Unless you have the conversations, you ain't gonna know. So again, be a heart-centered leader, not a manager just throws things at people. So I think we've covered that one. If you're a single business owner, if you're the only person in the business, so you don't have a team, you may have third parties. So again, this is about meeting or managing their expectations, so they know that you're not going to be around and that certain things aren't going to get done in your absence. And it's exactly the same process. If you need them to do something, then you brief them, but you sit down with them. You make sure you've done that early in the week and that they understand. And you come to an arrangement as to what's possible whilst you're away, that's not a false deadline, that's not false work, that's actually required. Or indeed, some of it might just be awareness. Same principle. But if you really don't have anybody, so a lot of people in my circle are coaches, for example. So, but they're a single business owner coach. They have a network of people, but they don't have people that they hand work over to. And again, going on holidays can actually be really stressful for those people, because again, they think their business has to shut down. Now, it may well be that you have a physical business that genuinely you can't, if you're not there, you can't do it. So if you're a plumber and you don't have a team, you can't do someone's plumbing whilst you're on holiday. So this is about managing expectations of clients. And it's the same with if you've got clients and you're not going to be around, maybe you have meetings with them or catch up, like coaches, we have coaching sessions. Just make sure they're aware that you're not going to be around. And again, it sounds so simple, but the amount of people that I've spoken to and they haven't managed the expectations of their clients. Their client is waiting for a call next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. and then it doesn't come through, and then they get emails and messages about it, and then it makes, heaven forbid, they then look at their emails and messages on holiday, and then it throws them into a flat spin because they realize they've let them down, or they think they've let them down. You know, it's just an innocent mistake, but it's one that could easily have been rectified. If you have regular meetings, just make sure people know that you're not going to be there, okay? And it may well be that if you're doing online stuff, you know, nothing has to just stop. You can schedule things. You can schedule some posts. Again, you don't need to do it for every day, but you can keep the presence of your business going. That's the beauty of scheduling. And if you're not doing that, again, this is something that I've learned over the years, and now I'm like one of the most prolific people on social media. So, but it's through scheduling. And you can schedule emails, so you can keep in contact with me. You can keep dialogue going. You can keep content and value going. There are ways you can do that. Now, you know, I don't want you to try and now spend this week trying to, you know, master new skills. That's not really what this week is all about. But there might be somebody you could speak to, or it may be a learning for next time. Or it may be that you've got stuff and it's like, okay, I'll just get a couple of posts out for the next couple of weeks, and just to keep that going. I don't have to like physically shut down my business. I can still keep adding value, and then the questions and the queries that come in, I can answer them when they come back. And if you want to put a message in there to say when you'll get back to people, then that, again, that manages people's expectations. That's handover. That's handover. And it's, again, this is simple, and to some extent it's easy, but it's something that totally gets missed, especially if our run up to our holiday has been one panic stricken working harder and longer fest, right? And we've spent 7 weeks getting you out of that cycle, and now we really want to just put the, you know, the cherry on the top here to make sure that the handover is done, the work continues if it needs to, that everybody's expectations are managed, everybody knows what's going on, everyone's briefed accordingly. We haven't put extra additional pressure on people that it's unreasonable to expect. We haven't put any false deadlines on people. We haven't just given somebody a scrappy piece of paper or an email at 12:30 on, you know, 12:30 midnight on Friday night, or from the hotel. We've actually managed this really, really well, and we've led others, we've led our work, we've led ourselves, rather than just trying to throw things around. It's really, really important, and I hope this is, you know, this is it. This is the grand finale. You've got yourself to this place. Now do this really well, and you will have that peace of mind that maybe has been lacking in other holidays because it has been some mad rush. And I'd love to hear, you know, basically just go off and go and have a great holiday. Get this week done. Do it in the way that we've said. Go off on holiday and see the difference. And I would love to, you know, yeah, not during. I don't want you sending anything during. When you come back, just come back and just throw some comments, or send me a message or an email and tell me how it went. Tell me how different it felt on your holiday. I would love to know, not because I'm nosy, but I love the results that people get from these simple things. And indeed, you would then inspire other people to take this sort of action to make sure that they turn things around. So, you know, everybody wins. So that's it. The handover week, week 7 of this 7-part series. It's been an absolute privilege and a joy to bring this to you. I hope you've enjoyed the outside. I did get some questions on why am I doing it outside. The whole reason I'm doing this outside is to get you out of your 4 walls, to get you into nature, to get you into the outside, to get you thinking, stimulating those different senses that are going to be stimulated on holiday. It just gets you appreciative of what's around us, rather than the 4 walls that we live in and the 4 walls that we work in. That's the reason. You know, I love videos like this when it's outside. It just takes me out of myself, and I hope it's been able to do the same for you, glorious Gloucestershire. And yeah, go and have an amazing holiday with your family. You've worked hard for it, you deserve it. And one thing I would say, in terms of especially your single business owners, I know it can be difficult going on holiday, and some people don't, because they think, you know, they can, or they will feel guilty, or they think they're going to miss their $1 million opportunity. Look, the world is going to continue. The clients and potential clients that are there right now are still going to be there when you come back from holiday. You need a break. You deserve a break. This is not a luxury. This is something that you mentally and physically need. It's something that your family needs, and it is part of living your most extraordinary life. And we have to afford ourselves these moments to get away and to switch off completely, to recharge, and then we can bring our best selves to our clients and potential clients and the projects that we hold dear, and the big difference that we want to make out there in the world. If we keep exhausting ourselves, if we keep wiping ourselves out, then we can't be our best. We can't make that biggest difference that we want. So this is really, really important for you all. Go and enjoy the summer holidays. And I just repeat, if this has really got you thinking, if you've got some momentum here and you're thinking, well, what next? And how do I embed this to make sure I don't go back to old habits? And what if something comes left field? And all of that kind of stuff. My one-on-one offer is still there. You know, and if it's interesting, just drop me a message. You know, let's do the holiday season. Let's all have an amazing holiday season, and then we can come back recharged. And from the new academic year, because as parents, the academic year is something that, you know, is our calendar. We can go into that, because just imagine, this isn't just about the school holidays. Imagine having that balance, having that calm, that confidence. Imagine the time you can spend with your family whilst it's the actually day in, day out of the academic year. You can be there for the homework, and you can be there for the bedtimes, and you can be there to support them, and after school clubs and the assemblies and all the other stuff. Maybe you're going to free up time to be able to spend more quality time with your family during the academic year. But I also, this microcosm of an experiment we've just done, I don't want you to just feel this for big holidays. I want you to feel like this every evening. I want you to feel like this every weekend, every bank holiday, and every trip and holiday that you book. This is what this is all about. This is about living life and making sure that we're enjoying the journey, and that we're not just getting snapshots of days during a whole year. So let's enjoy the journey. Let's enjoy our extraordinary lives. If you want to, you know, come back and work with me one-on-one, it'd be an absolute privilege and a pleasure to do so. Let's talk about that, see what the art of the possible is. And until then, just go and have an amazing summer holiday. So until then, until I speak to you again, until my next videos, stay safe, stay healthy, go and have an amazing summer vacation, and I'll see you again soon.